My first baby arrived early. I was lying on my couch watching a reality television competition when I realized I hadn't felt her move that entire day. Up until this point, she'd been kicking me with the white-hot intensity that is indescribable, so the absence of kicking was definitely noticeable. Because I have my priorities all in line, I waited until the end of the reality television to see who got eliminated, and then I called my doctor. The doctor said everything was probably fine, but I should just run to the hospital to get checked just in case. Once I checked in, the doctors told me I wasn't checking out until my baby was born. When Ella was delivered, she was immediately passed off to the NICU nurses in the delivery room. They didn't hold her up so I could see her. Nobody said, "It's a girl," like they do on TV or in the movies. After a few moments of silence and then her first cry, one of the nurses huddled around the baby said, "It's a redhead." I was pretty shocked. I have brown hair and my husband is blonde, and mailman jokes aside, I was not expecting a redhead. 3 days into my hospital stay, I called my oldest sister with my deep, dark motherhood confession. I don't really feel like Ella is my baby. It just feels like I'm babysitting somebody else's child. Maybe it's because she has red hair and she doesn't really look like me. I could barely get the words out. I was so suffocated with guilt. My sister nonchalantly replied, "Dude, my babies look exactly like me and I never feel like they're mine for ages." I was so relieved. After a stint in the NICU, we brought Ella home and settled into the daily task of being a mommy, but it still didn't feel quite real to me. 18 months after Ella was born, I was pregnant again and was completely sick. Some women are not morning sick at all, and some women are just a little bit sick during the first trimester of their pregnancy. Those are women that I hate. When I was pregnant, I was so violently ill all day, every day, and it always lasted for the full 10 months. Now notice that I didn't say 9 months, because every mom, when she's pregnant for the first time, has done this math and realized that we've been lied to for our entire lives. 4 weeks in a month, 40 weeks equals 10 months. And there's not even anyone to get mad at. You're just really pissed off at math for even existing. I threw up so much that towards the end of that pregnancy, Ella, who was not quite 2 years old, would pick up any sort of bowl that she saw and put it up to her mouth and go, "Bah!" That's right, I was so violently ill that my toddler thought that any vessel capable of holding liquid was meant to be violently thrown up into. That's not traumatizing at all for her. One night, when I was 7 or 8 months pregnant, I woke up at 2 a.m. because I could hear Ella being sick in her nursery across the hall. I was exhausted and nauseous, but I woke up my husband and we made a game plan. He got Ella, stripped her down, rinsed her off, and sent her into me to get dried and dressed in clean clothes. And meanwhile, he would go to her nursery, strip all the bedding, and put on fresh sheets and make sure the room was clean. Once this process was complete, I took Ella back into her room and laid her down in her newly changed sheets. Imagine my struggle with my big belly as I knelt by her side. Her little face was as pale as the white pillowcase beneath it. There was still the faint smell of vomit in that bedroom, making me feel overwhelmingly nauseous. But instead of hobbling back to bed to secure every minute of much-needed sleep, I paused while I stayed in her bedroom. I knelt down next to my toddler, tucked the blankets up around her, and began to softly pet her hair back from her face. That red hair that had made me question everything about my instincts as a mother just a few months before. Her eyes were closed, but I knew in my soul that this is what she needed. Yeah, she was cleaned up and in a fresh bed and ready to go back to sleep, but what she really needed was the soothing presence and the healing balm of her mother's touch. I began to quietly whisper words of reassurance to her in my very most soothing mommy voice. Now listen, this is a serious effort on my part. I'm not saying that I have the worst speaking voice in the world, but on a scale where 0 is Fran Drescher and 10 is Julie Andrews, I'm at a solid 4. So I'm uncomfortably kneeling next to my daughter's bed, stroking her hair and consciously softening the edges of my voice to try and soothe her soul. And as I kneel there, it dawns on me, she needs me. I'm better than medicine. I am just positive that my sacrifice in kneeling next to her on the bed is the only thing that could make her better. Just as I'm thinking this, Ella parts her lips as if she's about to say something. I lean closer to her to catch the precious words that are certain to escape her lips during this tender moment that we're sharing together. Without moving a muscle, without even opening her eyes, without the slightest movement, she opens her mouth and says, "Go away." I removed my hand from her hair, and with all the grace of a hippopotamus, I struggled back to my feet and wobbled into the bedroom. As I tried to fall asleep again, I realized this is what it means to be a mother. It is sacrificing yourself, your comfort, and your sanity to give everything you have to these little humans that you torturously brought into the earth. It's kneeling by their bedside to comfort them when you just want to go back to your own bed. It's staying up all night to plan the perfect birthday party or leprechaun trap or Pinterest recipe to make their life complete and getting absolutely no recognition for it. As I lay awake, I smiled a little. That was the day I first felt it. That was the day I knew I am a mother.